Guys, I am back at Into Moto. It's like my second home, this place, but I'm going on a bike that a few people have asked for, so let's just cut to it, show you what I'm on. So what we've got is a Suzuki Address 125, and people who've been following the channel for a while would know that I've been on the Suzuki Address 110. So this is the slightly bigger version, and a few people have been asking me to have a go on one of these. I was really impressed with the 110. I found it to be a really light and nimble bike, and this at a little over £2,000 is, well, it looks like a nice bike. The specifications of it are impressive. It's only 105 kilograms, very similar to the 110, and that impressed me the most, I think, because it was so light and easy to walk around and also to throw around when you're on the move. I'm expecting good things from this because in theory it should be just like the 110, just with a little bit extra power. That 15 extra cc's should make all the difference. Another positive with this bike is it has 1 mile on the clock. That is it. It is essentially a brand new bike. Now, it's already registered, so it's being sold as a used bike. I don't want to put too many miles on it for the next owner. However, I will go and give it a proper test. I want to see what the performance is like. Before I go for the ride, let's have a look around the usual way, and yeah, I'll throw some more specifications at you. Let's go brakes first. So the rear brake on this is a drum brake. The front brake is a disc brake. And I've said it before with a lot of these bikes of this type, because they don't weigh a lot, the brakes usually are exceptional. So we'll do a bit of a brake test while we're out and about as well. Tubeless tyres as well, front and rear. Front of the bike, quite classic looking. Again, it like style wise, very similar to the 110, as you would expect. Side stand, centre stand. We've got some pillion pegs as well. They tuck away nicely. And you do have something to grab onto as well if you're on the back. It's one thing always gets me. Now when you're riding, it is brilliant to have a bit of storage, but there's no top on it. I don't understand like why there's no top on it. You go over something a little bit bumpy, I don't know, could something come out on the move? I wouldn't risk putting anything expensive in there, that's for sure. Do love a bag hook, especially when you've got this nice step through there. You've got plenty of room to put a bag in between your legs while you're riding. USB, you've got an electric start, should you need it. There's a kickstart as well. A nice low seat height, 770 millimeters. So I'm 5'8" with a 29-inch inseam, so short legs, and flat foot, bending the knee. So this would suit somebody even smaller than me. But don't be put off if you're taller, because you've got quite a lot of room behind you. So if you are taller, you can shuffle further back in the seat, obviously, as I do it. Yeah, I'm on my tiptoes if I move back. So if you're taller, you'd be able to do that. And also, you've got a lot of room there for your feet as well, so you can move and basically get comfortable regardless of how tall you are. It just suits quite a broad range of different heights, let's say that. And I've already said it's only 105 kilograms, which means this bike is ridiculously easy to move around with your feet, and also really easy to push as well, for that very same reason. There is little to no effort to move it around. Yeah, it's just easy. If you imagine pushing round a push bike, because that essentially is how that feels. Obviously it's a bit wider, but yeah, just very easy. I do love the ease of a scooter, and I do like a nice comfortable one. Buttons. So just from this view, you can see this is a very basic scooter. And it is, and Suzuki don't try to claim it to be anything other than that. It's supposed to be a very cheap way of riding, a cheap way of getting onto a road. Cheap and cheerful is probably the best way to describe it. Your buttons, you have just got a horn, you've got your indicators, there's a high-low beam. That's it for the left side. Right side, you have got an engine start and an engine cut off, and that is it. You've got old school speedo. Again, do you need anything more than that? This is just, it's cheap transport, and it is unbelievably cheap to run as well, with a claimed 148 miles per gallon. If you've got one of these, let me know if that is actually obtainable, because that is just an obscene figure. Obscene in a good way though, because if it saves you money, I'm all for it. This bike, I've already said, has got 125cc engine. Now, out of that engine, there's not a great deal of horsepower comes out of it. It's, I think, 8.6 or 8.5, something like that. It's less than 9 horsepower, which surprises me because that just seems pretty low out of a 125cc. You can have just under 15, I think it's 14.8 is the limit, so it is quite low. However, what I will say is, when I went on the Address 110, what I found was, because it was so light, even having such a low figure on the horsepower, it was still pretty nippy. So if it's anything like the 110, I'm in for a treat when I take it for a ride. Let's open the seat and have a look. That actually is a nice bit of storage under here. So you've got quite a lot of room, but 21 litres. It does look ample for a decent sized helmet, and you can tell it's new. It's absolutely spotless in here. I like that as well. It's the little things. So that has got the toolkit in there, but it's got its own little place for it to stick in, so it's not going to rattle around while you're riding. That is a nice little touch. The fuel cap being underneath like that. I like it, strangely, because it's just a nice, easy access point. And as you can see, it is capable of accepting E5 or E10 fuel, so the good stuff or the cheap stuff. I always go for the good stuff. I just think it's better for the bike. But if you're doing long journeys and you're going through fuel like there's no tomorrow, yeah, I can understand people using the cheap stuff for that reason. However, this isn't going to go through fuel quite as quickly because the MPG is amazing. It's got a 5 litre fuel tank, which is very, very small. However, because it's so fuel efficient, that's all it needs. You're going to get a lot of miles out of that small fuel tank. The only thing left for me to do now is to take it for a ride. What I'm really interested in is it as good as the 110? That's the benchmark for me, because the 110 is a great bike. This should be better. It should be the 110 with an extra little push, extra bit of power, and if it is, then yeah, I'm going to be mightily impressed. But join me and we'll find out together if it is. Gloves on, lid on, time to go play. Let's start this baby up. Oh, that's a nice little touch. Like a little light display happening here, so I'm guessing they'll, I don't know, will they flash when I put indicators on? I don't know, but a nice bit of green and blue happening there. Oh, now I said it had 1 mile. That says 00000. It has no miles. Oh my god, this is its very first go. Right, let's take this little virgin bike for a ride then, shall we? And it is just going to be a very short ride today. I've already said it's it's not got many miles on this bike at all, so I don't want to put too many on because it is for sale at N2 Moto. Soaking up the bumps really nicely, no issues with that. Oh, that's weird, why has it done that? I don't know if you caught that on camera, but I had like my own little light show there, so it's blue, green, like a violet colour. I don't get that. Don't get that at all, that was a bit weird. Oh, now it's gone green again. Is it a speed thing? Oh, blue. Yeah, I'm enjoying the light show at the minute, but it's kind of stopping me from watching what's in front of me. Yeah, I'm a bit confused by the light. Oh, hello. That's a bit feisty. Off the mark there. It's, yeah, I would describe that as being very sprightly. Just the initial burst of power from a standing start is actually quite impressive. And you, oh jeez, you can actually feel like that's 30 mile an hour, like in a matter of a second or two, but it actually feels like the back wheel wants to just spin, you know, like it's got quite a lot. I mean, you don't expect that out of a bike that's got less than 9 horsepower, unless I've read the figures wrong. It does feel really, really good, this, as far as the performance goes. Now, I know the thing is with these bikes is they tend to have like a nice little jump from a standing start, but then it's the top end where they tend to lose it a little bit. But I don't care about that, because for me, scooters are the town bikes, the city bikes, the bikes to zip in and out of traffic. Speaking of which, I need to make the most of this little thing. Make the most of getting through these tiny little gaps. What an absolute joy. Oh, I think I'll sneak in here, thank you please. Yeah, I don't get the light display. There's loads of different colours happening and I don't understand why. Yeah, it's done it again. It's like going from blue to green to like colours in between, and it just, I don't know, don't get it. Why? It's done it again. So it's constant. So we've got this little dual carriageway bit here. Let's take it to 40, see how quickly it does that. Yeah, nice and easy. Visor down. So there's no wind protection to speak of, so I haven't got that, but it gets to 40 mile an hour really smoothly, and the initial 0 to 30 just seems really, really nippy. I'm not going to say quick because I know people will get all upset in the comments, but no, in fact I am going to say it. It feels quick to 30 mile an hour. It feels as quick as any 125 I think I've ever been on. It's an impressive little thing, this. Now I do feel scrunched up, so I'm going to move back a bit in the seat, give myself a little bit of extra room. And you'll have noticed I am in the car park, and the reason I've gone in this car park is I want to do a brake test. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take it round the corner, I'm going to get to a straight, I'm going to get up to 30 mile an hour, and then I'm going to do just a hard brake, and we're going to see how good these brakes are, because they have gone old school at the back with the drum brake, and the front has got the disc. So I'll try them both together. We'll play out a pretend emergency. Let's see. So get up to 30. There you go. Both brakes on. wow, that that is what I come to love with scooters. The bikes themselves are so unbelievably light. They're even having the old style drum brake on the back that stops as quick as anything I've ever had to do an emergency brake on. So that is awesome. If you're looking at a bike and you're thinking, oh, safety, all that, yeah, the brakes on this are exceptional. Starting power, oh geez, 30. I was doing 30 then by the time I'd even straightened the bike up, having turned. That is, honestly, I can't tell you how impressed I am with that, because when you're pulling out in traffic, you don't want to cause any cars to slow down. You don't want to create just an obstruction for someone. You want to get to that speed quickly. So we'll get up to 40 again, and yeah, it does it with absolute ease. I can't believe they're so cheap as well at the moment. A little over £2,000 for a Suzuki. I do constantly get in the comments, and thank you by the way for the comments, but I do constantly get, if I go on a cheap scooter, if I go on I don't know, like Sims are cheap, but I think they are brilliant. I love Sim scooters. I think for the value and performance, they're up there for me with the best of them. But there are people that disagree. There are people that always say, oh no, I would always get a Japanese one, I'd get a Yamaha, I'd get a Suzuki, I'd get a whatever. Taking into account that those Japanese bikes, they don't really make any 125s in Japan. They farm them out to save money. But taking that into account, the Japanese bikes are usually loads more expensive than the Chinese bikes, the Indian bikes, and bikes made anywhere else in the world. They always tend to be the expensive ones. Well, actually no, the Italian ones always tend to be ridiculous, don't they? Like the Italjets are really, really expensive. However, the Japanese ones are expensive. That's what I'm getting at. But it's not the case with this. For a little over £2,000, you're getting a bike that probably outperforms any other scooter that I've been on from a standing start anyway, up to normal road speeds. It's phenomenal value. I mean, taking in the miles per gallon as well, where you're getting, what was it, 140 something. I mean, 140 miles per gallon. Is that a typo? A lovely thing. It's weird. I know there's going to be people that'll comment about the performance. Why am I getting so excited about the performance? It's only got, you know, less than 9 horsepower or whatever it is. And I genuinely, I have to say this, because I know people will mention it, because the figures would suggest that this is going to be quite a slow bike, and it really, really isn't. I don't know whether it's just all of the power is at the low end to make it just unbelievably nippy, as opposed to being something that will do 70 mile an hour. The standing start speed that is the most impressive about it. And it really, really is. I cannot stress it enough. It is just absolutely blown me away with how much better it is than what I expected. And I expected and hoped it was going to be good, because I liked the smaller 110 version. A lovely bike to ride. Now, for today's video, it is just an initial impressions. I've gone for a little ride. I've only added 3 miles to it. If you are interested in a new scooter, and you should be, because they are the cheapest way to travel, this should be on your wish list, because it is cheap to buy, it's cheap to run, and you will have an absolute blast on it. I'm blown away. It's a beautiful thing. If you're interested into moto, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Laters.